Hello everyone, welcome to English Succour. Let's learn about part 2 of poem number 3 of literature reader Flamingo, Keeping Quiet by Pablo Neruda. Let's now move on to the line by line explanation of stanza 1 and 2. Before we start understanding stanza 1, you must know that a video has already been uploaded that provides introduction to the poet and the poem. So here starts the first stanza. Now we will count to 12 and we will all keep still. Now the poet starts with the word now. Why? What is the significance of the word now here? That as we know that the peace and harmony of our life, the peace and harmony of our the world has been devastated and it has been ruined. So, and we are not happy, although we are just endeavoring and making our best efforts to make our life happy and a cheerful one, but still there is no peace of mind. We are just killing each other and we are even causing loss to ourselves. So that is the reason that there is high time that we should all keep quiet. The poet says, now we will all count to 12. Counting to 12 here refers to just for some time. Let's all be quiet and we'll all keep still. We'll all have quiet introspection. So why the poet has chosen the word 12 here? 12 is a very common word associated, or a common number associated with the time. The year has 12 months, and moreover, in a clock, in a watch, we can find 12 signs indicating different times from 1 to 12. So the poet wants us to be quiet for some time, and for once on the face of earth, the poet says that we should take a kind of lesson from the earth, and the earth that brings peace and life and harmony on its surface can be a role model for all of us, and we should take a lesson from it. So let's, on the surface of such a great thing like earth, let's not speak in any language, because languages bring differences, and when we speak in different languages, a communion or any kind of mutual understanding cannot be possible. Let's stop for some time. Let's stop for 1 second some time and not move our arms so much. The poet says that not only we stop speaking in any language, we should also stop moving our arms, because when we move our arms, either we do such activities by which we cause loss to ourselves, and many a times these activities are totally useless. And moving our arms may also refer to using various weapons and ammunition to wage wars. So the poet wants us not to do anything, and just for a moment, let's introspect, let's retrospect. These are the poetic devices employed by the poet here. Assonance is used here. Assonance is the use of vowel sound. Vowel sound is repeated in the same poetic line. And here in this expression, now we will count to 12. Here O sound is repeated, and similarly not move our arms so much. So there is repetition of O and E sound. Anaphora is such use when a particular word is repeated in the successive lines or consecutive lines. So in here in this stanza, we see the word let's is repeated. Let's not speak in any language. Let's not stop. Let's stop for 1 second. So similarly, alliteration. The repetition of a consonant sound is alliteration. So here we see W sound is repeated in the expression we will. Symbolism. Here the expression count to 12 symbolizes time. Some questions have been chosen based on stanza 1. What is the significance of number 12? Why has the poet chosen number 12 only? So we need to explain how 12 is associated with time. We must cover the word limit here. Which two activities does the poet want us to stop? The very first activity is not to speak in any language, and the second one is not to move our arms. So, what does the poet mean by these two activities, and how does the poet want us to stop it? Must explain. What does the poet mean by let's not speak in any language? Why is, first of all, why is the poet asking us, and what does he mean by not speaking in any language? Why is the poet asking us to not speak in any language? To have quiet introspection. Why is the poet asking us to have quiet introspection, or why is the poet asking us to keep quiet, keep still for some moment, so that we can have understanding for ourselves, so that we can have mutual understanding for all other beings. Now, comment on the use of pun in the word arms. In the last line of the first stanza, we see the poet uses the word arms, and when pun is used, the poet always uses a word in two different ways. So the very first uses of meaning of arms is hands, and second one is weapons and ammunition. So why does the poet want us to keep quiet? So this is, the main message or the theme of this poem, that why is he asking us to keep quiet, or what is the need? What is the need? Why is the need? Loss of peace and harmony. So definitely, and why is there loss of peace and harmony? There is lack of understanding, there lack of mutual understanding among all human beings. And this is the reason the poet is asking us to keep quiet, so that peace and harmony can be restored with the help of mutual understanding. Now, what importance does the poet attach to the face of the earth? Already I have elaborated while explaining the stanza. Stanza 2. It would be. Now, it here stands for the moment when we all keep quiet. It would be. Now, here in this stanza, the poet is now stressing on the significance, or what would be the result, positive result of keeping quiet. It would be an exotic moment. An exotic moment means some extraordinary moment never experienced before, and without, as it would be without rush, we'll all keep quiet. So because how will we achieve this situation? When we stop speaking in any language, when we stop using our arms. So definitely that moment when we meditate and when we deeply introspect, that moment will be without rush. There will not be any hubbub, without engines, and all of a sudden we'll find ourselves in a suddenly that we are all at a spiritual level. We'll find a kind of oneness with all our fellow beings at different corners of the world, and we'll experience ourselves at a completely strange level that will come all of a sudden. Now, moreover, fishermen in the cold sea would not harm whales. As what will be the positive impact of keeping quiet? People will undergo transformation. For example, those people who cause harm to other beings, for example, fishermen, they kill whales. No, so fishermen in the cold sea would not stop harming the whales. Similarly, there are people who by their own activities cause loss to themselves. So similarly, the man gathering salt would look at his hurt hands, will realize what kind of injuries we have caused to ourselves by our actions. Poetic devices. The main poetic device used in this stanza is alliteration. These are the various expressions where different consonant sounds are repeated. We would, W sound is repeated, sudden strangeness, S sound, his hurt hands, H sound. Another figure of speech used here is repetition, without rush, without engines, without word is repeated. Now the questions, some of the questions are, which moment is referred to here and how will it be significant? So in this question there are two parts. The answer will be divided into two parts. In first one we need to explain what does the poet mean by this moment. The moment refers to the moment when we introspect, we keep quiet, or when we have quiet introspection, and how, what according to the poet, what will be the impact of keeping quiet, that we need to elaborate. How would we feel during that moment? What would be our experience? The value point should include exotic moment, and we'll find ourselves in certain strangeness, and how we'll just stop all such activities, destructive activities. Now, what does the poet want from the fisherman? What does the poet expect from all those people who just cause devastation to their surrounding, to all other beings? Taking example of fishermen, then it would be an exotic moment. Explain. So how, according to, first of all we need to mention which moment is referred here, and then how this moment will be an exotic moment. All right, now the final question of this slide: what would fishermen and others start doing after they all keep still? Means again, we need to comment on what will be the positive result of keeping quiet on all those people who either cause loss to their other being or to themselves. So with this we come to the end. Thank you so much.